Mi amigo, ¿cómo está?
Muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Bien. That's correct?
Yeah, that's
My
correct.
Spanish is getting there. For sure, señorita. Chicachura, gracias.
Yeah.
Is it chula or chula?
It's chula.
Chula.
Yeah, that means like a cool when something is really cool. It's like
Cool.
oh, que chulo.
Chula.
Like, for example, when you talk about a sweater that you just bought, it's like wow, que chulo. It's like wow, this looks good. Yeah.
Hello, amigos, and welcome to another episode of the Grey Avenue podcast. I'm your host, Sheila Garcia, and this is episode number 4 with Sheila Garcia from Barcelona. Well, it's Sheila Garcia from Barcelona. I was trying to sound Spanish, and it's hard as hell. Sheila is a lawyer, and she has done quite a bunch of stuff. She's traveled a lot. Instead of being in the office or in court working as an attorney or something like that. So she shared a lot of stories about her travels and her background in Spain, growing up as a mulatto, which is a mixed race person, basically. And Kannan joined in as well, which made it more funnier. Then he's a mulatto himself. So there's a lot of stories about them, about the English and the British versus the Spanish. And also the siesta, which the Spanish are very famous for. If you don't know what the siesta is, then you just have to stick around. And the Japanese culture as well, we discussed it a little bit because Sheila went there and other bunch of places. Also, she told a lot of honest stories about herself, which you wouldn't expect someone to bring on the podcast. She's very honest. I mean, she's Spanish, so And she asked a very awkward question at the end of the episode. She asked a question to me and Kannan, to myself and Kannan, which I'm not going to tell you just have to listen to. It's quite long, but it's worth the listen. I had fun doing this one. I hope you enjoy it as well. And just a few hints before we jump into the episode. The Grey Avenue podcast is available. It's coming out every Tuesday and Thursdays online on the website emojimotion.com, which is imojimotion.com. And you can also find it on SoundCloud on the Grey Avenue podcast if you search. But we also got accepted on Stitcher, so if you like to listen on Stitcher, I'll throw in the link in the description. And without further ado, enjoy our episode with Sheila Garcia from Barcelona. Enjoy.
How's your photo shoot?
We didn't take any pictures today. It was more, I really like that guy. I mean, he's got like a nice soul, nice spirit.
You like the guy?
Well, it's not I like the guy. I mean, I'm not gonna go to bed with him. It's I like his personality. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, oh la la.
Yeah.
And so, how do you find yourself in Cape Town? Explain a little bit about that.
Well, I arrived here 2 months ago, and actually it was a blessing because I didn't expect to come here at all. Like 4 months ago, it was really. I was hired very randomly by a company, a Spanish travel company. It's called Kananga. It's based in Barcelona and in Arusha, Tanzania. So yeah, a friend of mine who does records like you, was recording a friend for a Chinese work, an overseas work. Right. Yeah, and that person told him, look, there's a company, there's a friend that they're hiring people, guides that want to go to Africa. So maybe you know someone. So my friend said, oh, maybe I can help you. So that friend, my best friend, he texted me that night and said, look, Sheila, I've got a company. It's called Kananga, and they are looking for, guides. they want tour leaders in Africa. And I said, oh, okay, cool, you can send my CV. I mean, he's got my CV because he's been helping me like getting jobs like since like forever. So he already had my CV. So he sent the CV, and the day after, the boss of the company called me, and we arranged a meeting, and I did the interview, and then I did the training in Barcelona, then part of the training here in Cape Town, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so before we go ahead with the trip, let's take me back a little bit. Where your background? How did you grow up in Spain?
Yeah, I'm Spanish. My father is Spanish. My mother is from Equatorial Guinea, a very small country in Africa, West Africa.
This is Spanish colony, right?
Yeah.
Is it the only one?
It's the only one in Africa, and it got its independence in 1968.
All right.
Yeah. Before it was a Portuguese colony.
Oh, okay.
Like way before, like in... Yeah. So yeah, I mean, my childhood in Spain was pretty normal. I was the only black kid in the school. Yeah.
But if you say the black kid, you're a mulatto, right?
Yeah.
So you're black, and your dad is white, your mom is black, but you look black.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you're still a mulatto.
Yeah, I'm a mulatta. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Mulatto.
I mean, it's called mulatta, biracial, half caste, if you want to call it like that. Yeah. Yeah, maybe you meant, I mean, your question was more like, how do you feel, or how, I mean...
No, I just wanted to get clear, like how...
My background.
Yeah, your background, how you turned up to be a mulatto.
Yeah, I mean, of course, culturally, I belong to Europe, I'm a Europe's kid. I was born there, and all my culture is there, I mean... But on the other hand, there's something inside of me. I mean, I always was very prone to my African part. For example, let's say when my mom cooks African food, I've got a sister, and she's mulatto as well. And I'm not saying that she pretends to be like more white than me, because it's not. I mean, she's really black as well. But she just doesn't like African food or spicy food. And I always like those things, and like the African prints and the clothes, everything. Well, I have to recognize that this has been more like lately, like when I was like
Traveling?
Maybe on my travels, and as I grew up, because when you're growing up, you're trying to realize who you really are, and yeah. So yeah, I must say that I feel myself like culturally, let's say, white, but in my heart I'm black. I'm in my heart and outside as well. Yeah. So about the culture, I cannot do anything. I mean, it's something that it's like a chip in your brain. So when I come here to Africa, and for example, there's things that for me are normal because I'm a traveler. And I like, like sometimes adventures and disorganized things, but in my mind, like it's like, oh, this wouldn't happen in Europe, or for example, when you wait so much time for things, those kinds of things. Yeah.
Okay, so how did it feel growing up a mulatto in Spain, being the only black kid in the school?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, not too bad. I mean, it could have been worse, I guess. Mm-hmm. But of course, there's that sense of uniqueness, like you are like a different person from the rest. But yeah, I think because of my personality, I just took it like normal.
You probably didn't recognize it earlier, eh?
No, and I think I had this conversation with you before. Well, I'm not sure if it was you, but anyway, when I address to a white person, I don't address to that white person as if I'm black. And I know for sure that an African person in Europe, but also even more in Africa, when they address to a white person, they know that there's that wall, you know, like I'm the African, I'm black, you are the white, you know, and there's still that rivalry. But for me, it's like I don't even realize that, and sometimes I have to, you know, like really look in the mirror, like, yeah, I mean, sometimes I wonder how people perceive me, you know, in Spain, like, oh, are they okay, like, being with me?
Do they look at you different, or they just look at you like a human being?
Look, we have a new guest here.
This is a new guest. This is my motherfucking podcast.
Kannan just got out of the shop somehow.
Yeah.
And is here.
Nice.
Oh yeah, so we're saying?
Yeah, I was saying that that sometimes I wonder how people perceive me, you know? Because for me, I mean, they're equal to me because I grew up there. But of course, they perceive me different, like a foreign person, or, you know, like an immigrant sometimes.
Yeah. Did you ever had an encounter where a race issue in Spain before, whether in school or?
Yeah, maybe I can remember 2 of them, but yeah.
Okay.
But what I can say, I mean, it wasn't like that bad. It was just, you know, like kids things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What were you like when you were a kid?
What do you mean?
When you was young?
Yeah.
What kind of kid were you? The cool kid or the angry kid? The troublemaker?
Not at all.
I don't believe that for a second.
Not
I
at all.
don't believe you.
I've never been a troublemaker.
Wait, tell me you don't believe that for a second.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you, Sheila.
Okay. What I'm gonna say, I think I was just, you know, like a normal kid, like being always in the middle. I mean, I wasn't like the coolest person in the class, like the most popular. Or, of course, I wasn't a nerd or a freak, but yeah.
Were all the guys trying to touch your hair in school?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like your hair is your guy magnet in Spain.
Maybe. Not only in Spain.
Everywhere, right? Even here.
Even here, yeah.
So you're a lawyer, are you?
Yeah.
How did you decide to be a lawyer? Like how come you chose to become a
good
lawyer?
question. Well, that sounds pretty sad, but I think my mom decided that.
You used to be a nerd, and your mom was just like, you have to be a lawyer or a doctor.
No. Well, the thing is, I was really good with, you know, humanistics. I remember that in high school, I did like all those, you know, subjects, Latin, Greek, a lot of languages. Like, you know, I don't know if you here you divide like subjects when you are in high school, like in the last years. You know what kind of career you want. So then, if you go to science or you go to humanistics or leathers or yeah. So I wasn't sure about the degree. I wanted to be a journalist, but I don't know, perhaps an actress. You know, I told to my mom like, oh, I want to, you know, join the actors school in Barcelona, and she said, you know what? I'm not gonna pay for that. And I said, okay, well. But I wasn't like enough sure, you know. Yeah. So then I said, you know, I'm always, you know, arguing things. I try to, you know, convince people. Like, I like to talk a lot.
Right.
Do you?
So yeah.
We didn't know that.
Oh. Now you know.
Just to cut you off a little bit, for the people listening, it's called Barcelona, not Barcelona, right?
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Now I can pronounce Barcelona.
Yeah.
Feels natural now, eh?
Uh-huh.
Cool, yeah, so
Go ahead. I decided to do that degree, and I had an awesome time in uni. Actually, you know, it was like the best time. I really enjoyed to, you know, have my cigarette in the mornings in the bar, you know. I spent a lot of time, you know, in the parks around the uni.
not in
Not in class. No, but I think I succeed in that. I finished the degree in 5 years, which is quite okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm intimidated by smart people like you. Make me feel stupid. Like an idiot.
No.
So, you after you started your law career. I mean your law studies.
Yeah.
At 16, 17.
I started when I was 17,
17?
but almost 18 because my birthday is in December. After that, I didn't know what to do. Also, I was very young. I finished when I was 22, so I didn't know really what to, if I wanted to be like in a law firm, like to work there. So one day my dad called me and he said, "What are you gonna do with your fucking life?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. What I know is I just don't want to work now." And he said, "Oh, maybe you could go to China." And I said, "You're crazy." But then, I thought about the idea one day after another. And I ended up living in China 1 year.
Ah, just like that.
Yeah, well, no, there's a reason. It's because one of my best friends from uni, he's Chinese. Well, he's Spanish, but he's got Chinese parents. Mm-hmm. So he told us that he would be going to China to learn Chinese, to learn Mandarin for 6 months. Sorry. And then, my dad heard about that and he said, "Oh, maybe you can join him."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was it like being darker skinned in China?
Well,
Sorry, let me just rephrase the question in case it didn't get through the mic.
Yeah.
How was it like to be black in China? To be a mulatto?
A mulatto?
Yeah.
Well, Chinese like mulattoes, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh la la!
Yeah.
You had all the attention there, huh?
No, well, it's more, Africa and China, they are having like nice business relationships.
Sure,
so there are a lot of Africans there right now, as there are a lot of Chinese people in Africa as well. So yeah. Mm.
Ah, so it was a cool mulatto in China. What were you doing there? Just chilling on the beach?
No, I went to study. My friend and I, we signed up for a university. So he did 6 months, and I just said, look, if I go to China, if I go to the other part of the world, at least I'm gonna stay there like 1 year, because 6 months, time flies. So I want to stay there like a long time,
Okay. So before we go into China deeply, tell me a little bit about the education system in Spain. Is it free like the Netherlands, or?
Yeah, of course it's free. I mean, a person has to be, like in school from, let's say, I think it's 3 or 4 years old to 16.
Mm-hmm.
That's obligatory. And then from that, you decide if you want to, like do a professional. We call it formación profesional, which is like, when you don't do a degree, you do like something.
Certificate or something?
Yeah, certificate, exactly. And then, then you can decide to go to uni if you did well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, I think money is not a problem. I think in Spain, money is not really the problem. The problem is how the government is dealing or is working with that money. For example, we have a very good health system. Actually, I think it's the best of the world. I mean, people come to Spain to get operations until now for free. We've got the best doctors. Actually, I was very surprised because I know that here in South Africa, in the state hospitals, sometimes you don't get the best doctors because the best doctors are in the private ones.
Definitely.
So in Spain, of course, in the private ones, you're gonna have the highest service, but it's more about luxury. It's more about when you go to a 5-star hotel, something like that. But the best doctors are in the state hospitals because the state hospitals are the ones who have the money. I mean, the money from taxes from the citizens, from from the government, and also. And I know that because my mom works in a hospital, in a state hospital.
All right.
She's a nurse there, so they've got like the best equipments, So of course, if you wanna, like get like a very difficult operation, you go to a state hospital, not to a private one, unless it's I don't know, like something really specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how different is Spain to the rest of Europe? What do you think would be the difference?
Well, I think Spain, it's quite different from anything you can get in Europe because, I don't know, we have a different personality, a different way of living. I don't know if it's better or worse. Probably better than, like people from the UK, for example.
Okay, listen, I've just come to sit down to join, and I've not even sat down properly and we're already bashing you. So as a retort, I'll tell you how the rest of Europe sees Spain. Lazy. Lazy strong. They like a siesta. They sleep in the middle. Who sleeps in the middle of the day when you're an adult?
I heard that about Spanish people, yeah.
Siesta, aka I want to have a nap because I'm lazy.
You know what? And that's why Sheila always says she's tired. Freaking time.
All the time. Oh,
all the
go
time.
to bed now. Sleeping is your hobby, eh?
Is that true about Spanish people?
Well, to be honest, not. And I think people.
But I never heard of Spanish people as the most hardworking people in the world.
Yeah, we're not. I can say we're not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think people has got like a misconception of what siesta is. So we adults, we don't do siestas because people work. People work in between, like, let's say from 2 to 4. They've got their break lunchtime, but they're still working, so they don't have time to do a siesta. To do a siesta, you have to go back to your place and sleep at least for 30 minutes. So what we do is some of the shops, they close because they go for lunch or for a break, but then they open like 2 hours later. But that's not a siesta. It's
The shops close in the middle of the day.
Yeah, but not for siesta. It's because of the culture or whatever. But it's not. It's not we're going to sleep.
But look, so I'm working at my desk, lunchtime for me, and I've got errands to run. I've got shit to do, but because I work, the only time I've got to do it is lunchtime. But I go to the shop at lunchtime.
It's closed.
It's fucking shut.
No. But what shop are you talking about?
Anything. Clothes shop.
Supermarket?
Food shop.
Food
Supermarket.
shop,
Clothes shop.
But yeah, you have to. Have you been in Barcelona? No, not
I've
yet.
been to Barcelona, not Barcelona.
No, Barcelona, bro.
No.
Okay, you have to come and see how it is because
been to
it's not like that.
He's making it too serious, eh?
Yeah, I mean the rest of Europe, they think that we are like I don't know, like beers, like sleeping.
Yeah.
We're not.
Siesta, baby.
Yeah. No, it's just we recognize that it's part of our culture. For example, we don't work from 9 to 5. We work from 8:30 and sometimes to 7:30 in the afternoon, and then the work is not done. How can that be possible? Like we work a lot of hours and we spend a lot of time in the office, but then we're not for some reason we are not productive. So that's the problem.
You're not productive.
But how come? It means you have been taking a lot of.
But it's not because of it's not because of the siestas, because we don't get siestas at work. Of course not.
Spanish people like to have conversations about things that aren't to do with work.
Or
Don't
maybe.
get me wrong, I'm not Spain bashing. I love Spanish.
I love Spanish people, bro.
People.
Thank you.
Women.
For sure, Kannan.
Would I employ a Spaniard? Question mark.
Oh,
If I owned a bar,
Yeah.
employ a Spanish bar.
Before you go ahead, she was asking me last night when we went out for dinner. She said,
About dinner? Where's my invite?
No, sorry,
See,
not last night. On Monday night, you were still at work, like at 6 or 7.
Okay.
She asked me if I could employ her in my company if I was running a big corporation.
She asked me this yesterday. See what she's doing, mate? Playing us off again.
Yeah.
No.
She asked me this
So
yesterday.
she asked me, but what was my answer? Or what did that tell you?
Yeah, he said, "Oh, I would employ you because you've got like nice interpersonal skills or something like that."
Great wording, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You know?
But
I think it's.
But something else that I don't remember.
You would be a cool person to have in a company, just like a floating utility.
Cheerleader.
The female version of Erlich Bachman, if you know what I
You'd
mean.
be a really good cheerleader because you're the kind of person I think you'd be happy every day you came into the office.
Yeah, she's
I
always
came into the
happy.
office today. I wanted to stab all of my colleagues, but you'd be happy every time you come into the office. I think.
Yeah.
But what kind of boss do you think Kannan is? Do you
A
think?
good one. Look at that face. Look at that face. Can I kiss you? Love you.
I've got chili on my face.
I think Spanish people are the coolest. There's one thing that I think about when I look at Spanish people now. I think they have similar aesthetics as the French. Culturally.
But share a border, man. Basque people are Spanish and French.
Right?
Well, they are Basque. They are Basque.
The Basque region covers Spain and France.
I'll tell you what, Kannan. The French connection had similar things as Sheila in some cases, especially. That's true. also just the way they carry themselves.
I agree.
What was the name of this other girl? Her name, not Melissa, the other one, Marie. If you remember Marie, what they say Marie in French, yeah, she is the same as her. We went to the shop the other night at Pig and Pay to buy bread, and she just went to the bread basket and started touching it with her hands, bare hands, just like selecting which one is best, just like that. Who does that?
French people.
French people. Spanish people are the same, and she's exactly the same. She likes touching things, she's very touchy. Don't you?
So what I touched? The food.
Yeah, usually people don't go to the shop and touch food with the bare hands.
But I didn't do that.
No, but you have something similar. No, it's not a bad thing. It's really cool. It's different. So, yeah, it's actually, when Kannan says he loves Spanish women, that's exactly what he's talking about. Right, Kannan? So, where else have you been before you got here?
Where else? Do you mean like countries and cities, no? So, I've been to China, I said Beijing, Shanghai. Also, Inner Mongolia. I've been to the US, New York and Washington. I've been to Japan, Tokyo. I've been to Nairobi in Kenya. Yeah, and some places in Europe as well.
Okay.
London.
Yeah, London.
Of course.
So we gave. Sorry to interrupt, Greg.
No worries.
I gave my views of Spanish people. Can you reciprocate? What are your views of Londoners?
Well, I spent there 10 days, so I wasn't
That's
able
enough
to.
time, I feel.
Yeah, that's more than.
Well, to be honest, when I was in China, I almost fell in love for a British guy. His name was Chris O'Brien.
That's a British name. Though.
Very
that's
British.
super British.
Christopher O'Brien.
Yeah, well, but that's more Irish, no?
O'Brien's
O'Brien.
Irish,
yeah. So
Was it the accent?
Yeah, of course, it was the accent.
O'Shea is also very Irish, right?
Yeah.
O'Shea O'Brien.
Yeah.
If it's an O apostrophe, yeah.
Right.
The accent, great. Some people were just built to have this accent, some people weren't. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, bro. But what do you use your accent for, Kannan? Just before we go.
Explain us that.
Explain what you do with your accent in Cape Town, bro. Before I bust you right
My
now.
accent in Cape Town. I feel like. I'll tell you what I like. This is a complete tangent.
But it feels like he's exaggerating the accent sometimes.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, yeah. Negative.
Definitely. Definitely.
He's just proud.
Educated very well. So
No,
I
I mean, I have no doubts about that. But it's like, for example, in Spanish, well, I don't do that because I don't know how to do that. But some people, they're trying to create, to speak like they are like a little bit more posh than they are. I know. Yeah, I know. Well,
No, but
sometimes.
maybe it wouldn't be as posh, but it would be in your own, Maybe she just mean the extreme of the,
Yeah,
of
okay,
the
if you
accent.
heard me speaking to my English friends, I'd speak very differently. That's the way I speak over here. But that's a complete tangent. You caught me red-handed there. But
Yeah.
I tell you why I like my accent over here, because I look local. And then I speak and people are like, oh wait, no, you're not local.
Yeah.
And then
And of course you want to be noticed as the unlocal, you know, unlocal is cool. No local, bro.
It's not lekker.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were saying about, he asked a question about what you think about the British.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think long time ago was a great empire. No, and it still is, you know, like, I think it's a good country, it's a nice country, and somehow I think British people, they have reasons to be really proud of being British.
Do you think there's a big difference between Spanish people and English people in culturally?
Yeah, of course.
Where?
Well, I mean, I don't know how to make this, how to explain this, but I think we all human beings, we are almost the same. It's not like you're British, you're different. But of course, the weather, it's a really different thing that makes change your interaction with people and also with the universe and what else? The way because of the weather. The weather is a very important thing because it changed everything. In Spain, after work, you go outside. I know that British people, after work, they go to drink. I know that.
That's what Kananda does.
Yeah, that's why you're late at home always.
People think going to the gym, but I'm just going to
No, but it's more like we enjoy life in a different way. After, for example, in Barcelona, after work, your work time, you can have a walk in the beach. It's not cold, even if it's the winter time. So yeah, it's just a different way of interacting with people. And
also one thing that I know for sure, Spanish people are nicer than the British.
Trying to say about nice, right?
Well, I had that conversation with him as well. It's because he apologized for something.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, you British people, you are even apologizing for things that you're not supposed to apologize, huh?" And that's because I think they pretend to apologize, they pretend to be polite, but inside it's like, fuck this person.
You're completely accurate. It's not like fuck this person, but British people, right? We will never say, and I'm telling you, for every British person, this is. I've talked about Spanish people, a sweeping statement. Of course, it's not all Spanish people, but what I'm about to say is all British people. We will never say how we actually feel because we're just the way that our society is built. It's all about being polite. For example,
you have to think politely.
But for me, that's too bad. That's too bad.
If I got a bad meal at a restaurant, never ever would say.
Yeah,
I'd eat it. Someone spent time making that, so I'll eat it because.
Yeah, of course not. That's unpolite. I wouldn't say that. Like, oh, I don't
but
like
you
this.
guys are good at saying how you feel. The French and the Spanish.
Of course,
we
are, but not in everything. It has to be like an important thing. For example, if it's related to food, if you invite me to your place and you cook something that I don't like, I'm not necessarily gonna say I don't like this.
I'm talking about a restaurant.
A restaurant. Yeah, of course. If I don't like something, I'm not gonna eat it. I'm paying for it.
See, British people, I'd fucking get on with it.
Yeah.
I'd eat it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
That's probably the biggest thing about British people compared to the rest of the world is that we just don't say how we feel.
Good point. Now, Kannan, me and Kannan, we had a previous podcast with the Brian Fletcher guy, the traveler.
Red Bear. Shout out Brian.
Shout out to Brian, man. He just flew back to the States today because of some reasons, but all the best. But now we heard stories about Japan, right? Tell us what you think about Japan, just so that we can have not a comparison, but just a good understanding. What do you think about the Japanese people?
Yeah, I went there in actually last year, 2014.
Right.
And when I arrived there, it felt because of the architecture, like pretty similar to China, but then it's completely different. They're super polite, of course, like the British, but in a different way. It's just crazy how polite they are. They are saying like thank you for everything, every little single thing.
That's the way the world's meant to work, guys.
Yeah.
If there's more Brits and Japs, Japanese people. You're gonna have to edit that. Right?
No, I'm gonna leave it. It's raw.
If there's more British
At least you
people-
didn't say manga people.
If there's more British and Japanese people in the world,
Yeah.
the world will be a better place because we're all polite.
Okay.
But I mean, is it generally polite, or you feel like you have to be polite? There's a difference, right?
Yeah, there's a huge.
I think sometimes it's good to express how you feel, you know, even though I'm terrible
She
at
hit the
that.
nail on the head yesterday that we feel we have to be polite. I'm not actually polite. For example, if I go into like, it's just weird things that it's quite hard to explain as a non-Brit to someone. But little intricacies in our culture. For example, I'd never shut. I'd always open the door for someone if they come in. I don't know. It's just weird things that we do. If you're ever on Twitter, search #very British problems, and you'll see like the things that we do. It's a very strange culture.
Yeah, well, I agree with him in something. I mean, I'm always saying like, you know, when I go to places, good morning, of course, because I'm educated as well. You know, it's like good morning, thank you, and yeah, I'm also saying thank you all the time. For example, with people from the service of the restaurants, you know, waiters, and some people they don't do that because they just assume that it's their work and that's it. But I do that because I'm like that. I have so much empathy for those people because maybe one day I'm gonna be in that. Who knows? You know, like maybe I'm gonna be a waiter someday. You know, because but it's not. I don't feel guilty if something doesn't go with my feelings. So it's just I express what I don't like.
Yeah.
It's simple, it's natural, you know.
I mean, I grew up in a culture where you don't have to say thanks for everything. People just do things, you know.
Yeah.
And then when
African people,
yeah,
they
you
are
know,
like that.
it's not like they don't appreciate it, but it's just like, oh, you did that, cool. They would feel, but they wouldn't tell you, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I got here, it was strange for some people. It's like, oh, you didn't say thanks to after something, you know. It's like the waiter or the waitress bringing some food, and I just let her go, and my friend is like, oh, dude.
A mind fuck that I read recently this week. I was on Reddit,
Right.
and it was conversations similar to this about different cultures and languages. And I know obviously you said that you don't say, it's not that you don't have, obviously thank you is a word. Is it Malawian? You speak Malawian, or is it a different?
Malawian, the language I speak, is Chichewa is like the most used language there.
Okay, so it's like South Africa where different tribes have different languages.
Correct, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's a Red Indian tribe, and they don't have a word for thank you. But the reason they don't have a word for thank you is that it's not because they're rude, it's because it's assumed that people will say thank you, so you don't have to say it because that's the kind of culture they have. They also didn't have a word for money.
Because they don't have a
Not because they don't have a currency.
yeah.
Because you do things for favours. You don't do it for currency.
Ah,
you don't do it for paper.
yeah.
You don't do it for money. So
on the thank you note,
that
on the thank you note, that's exactly how the Malawian culture is like. It's like people just assume that they thank you.
Yeah, that's the kind of culture
Yeah.
do things
You
for
know.
favours.
So when I got here, I had to learn to say thanks to every fucking thing. Now that's what I do now on everything. In a fucking shop, the tailor gives me change. Thank you. Just like in my.
But I mean, I don't even do it consciously anymore. Obviously,
Yeah, me too.
It's for you because you had to learn it as an adult.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would have had it drummed into me if I was a child and I was with my mum and I didn't say thank you to the waiter. I would have got a clip around the ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, speaking of the.
I think that there are some things that you cannot just assume because for example, with love, you cannot just assume love. You have to show it. You have to express
we're
it.
English people. We don't do that shit.
Well, no, I mean.
The way in England you'll see if someone if you're at home and someone makes you a cup of tea, then they love you. But
is it?
Yeah, like if someone does something for you without you asking. Like,
Do you offer?
it's by actions.
Okay, right.
That's
yeah,
good.
Yeah, these guys are quite very vocal about stuff. You know, they tell you.
And again, I don't. When I say Spaniards, I don't mean as a sweeping statement about the whole country at all. But from the Spaniards that I've met,
definitely.
The Spaniards I've met,
Definitely,
they're very vocal and they say how they feel.
Yeah,
Which is quite refreshing as a Brit because we don't have that in England.
Yeah. I mean, even the French as well. Most French people that I've met, they kind of have the same aesthetics. Yeah, but
what about Malawians?
Malawians,
Are they open?
You know what? For the people that have been to Malawi, they'll tell you that they're the nicest people in the world, or people who have worked with Malawians before. When they meet me, they're like, "Oh, Malawians! Wow, we have had a Malawian before working for us, or he works in a certain department, whatever." And they're the very nicest people. But to be honest with you, being a Malawian, I was born there. I would tell you that they're very recessive to other cultures, especially foreign.
They prefer other cultures to their own. Is that what you mean?
No. They're just very recessive. They're not. They feel, I don't know, they're intimidated by other people's culture, especially the Western. So they just like they feel like they have to be nice to everything. I don't know, you know, it's a thing like that. They're intimidated by white people specifically.
Like Sheila mentioned, and I didn't think of it before, but the act of being polite and the act of meaning to be polite is actually very different.
Exactly.
Saying thank you and meaning thank you.
Yeah,
is very different.
Yeah, sure. And which is better? Meaning it.
I suppose meaning it, but it means you don't say it as often. Like, I say thank you for fucking everything.
Yeah.
Meaning it or don't mean it. Like,
exactly. You know, now it's just like, it's a blurred line now. You can
it's
even
like
tell.
the word, like, people throw love around too much.
Man.
Culture Japan's the only country in the world where the death rate is higher than the birth rate. They have a declining population. Only country in the world. Because people won't fuck. People won't have relationships.
They can't even approach women sometimes because there are places where you have to pay for just a woman to speak to you. That's what the previous guy was telling me.
Yeah. To show affection.
Or even just at a restaurant to just come to talk to you. You know, have a conversation. There are places like that. I mean, you're not a Gap Road, but you don't know those things.
Yeah.
But what did you notice? What's the difference?
Yeah, well, what I know about Japan is they are, again, very polite, very, reserved. Mm-hmm. They are not really touchy. So we Spanish people, we are touchy. We don't have problems in, like saying hello and touching on your back or something. So they get also intimidated if you do that. So yeah, I believe so. What you said, maybe that happens. Mm-hmm.
Also, one thing, when I grew up in Malawi. The Malawian culture is a little bit similar to the British one because we were colonized by the British and they still have.
Was it British?
Yeah, it was a British colony.
Sorry about
that. But all Africa is British.
No, it's not. It's British, Portuguese, Belgian, Dutch, Spanish. Did I say Portuguese? That's what it is. Mm-hmm. But the Brits, sorry about that.
Yeah,
no, man. Kind of tripped and fell into your country. Sorry, man.
And you actually fucked it up so badly.
Listen, I'm mulatto. It wasn't my bad. Maybe like my generations and my dad's side did.
So we're talking about the culture. So the Malawians and these guys are a little bit similar. I think he wants a lighter. He wants a lighter.
I'm listening, Graham.
Yeah, sure. What were we talking about?
You were talking about Malawian culture is similar to the Brits.
Yeah, what was the story behind
the men?
The men and the Japanese men.
Oh, she was saying about how Spanish people are quite...
Oh yeah. There's a story I wanted to tell about that. So I was saying the Malawian culture is very similar to not very similar, somewhat similar to the British, in a way that it's okay to be guys and touch each other on the shoulders, taking a photo. But you're cool with touching another guy's shoulder, Mm-hmm. When I came to South Africa, that's a problem. With the culture here, the Afrikaans culture specifically.
There's a lot of homophobia in this country as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of homophobia here. It's very indirect. Like you cannot touch other guy's hand or on the shoulder. Yeah. I can show you photos of my friends here that are from here. You would never see them on a photo or just chilling out, hugging each other as guys. You don't do that. So it was kind of awkward for me. I got here. You can't do that.
So that's like when you greet your friends that are guys.
Yeah.
Even like when I go back home.
Yeah. It's just like
it's like a quick hug. It's normal.
Sure.
I think it's a lot to do with homophobia and the culture is different.
Exactly.
A big example I have of that, and I really like training stories. So India, I went to India for a couple of months when I was younger. 16. Fuck, I was 15. And India's a culture where you can't show affection to women in public. It's a very reserved culture. Mm-hmm. So because of that, the men and the male friends show a shitload of affection to each other in public. to the point where men will walk down the road holding pinkies like this.
Yeah.
With their friends that are guys, they'll be straight.
Yeah.
So you see these men. Give me a hand.
Mm-hmm.
So you see these men walking down the road like this, and they're trying to mac on chicks. The boat that girls walk by, trying to chat girls up with their linking with their friends.
Also, when they're crossing on the middle, she's caught in the.
What? Yeah, man. One of the stranger culture shocks I had of India, which is dope, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so you can't show any affection to your female friends, even if she's a partner.
Yeah.
So they just show affection to men.
You know what? Just talking about that 4 hours ago, my friend from Norway, as you know her, she sent me a video link. She's from Sri Lanka originally, but she was born in Norway, I think. So the video says that there's a new app in India which is becoming a big deal now that allows people to go to a hotel and have affection and to have sex, basically, because they cannot do it affectionately outside there because it's a problem. You know, there's a lot of structures that you have to go through to reach to that point, and you cannot even kiss a girl outside. You know, so if Kannan goes to the hotel there, phones her girlfriend to see him in the hotel, she's not going to be allowed to go in because there's a guy in there and they're going to ask her if she's a prostitute. So there's an app that is solving that problem and it's becoming big because guys are just hitting it off at the hotel. You know, that's dope, but like also it's technology, bro.
High five technology.
Yeah, high five to tech, bro. But at the same time, like this is 2016, people. I mean, what the heck?
I had this conversation completely irrelevant with one of my friends recently. In fact, today, I had this conversation today. We were talking about completely irrelevant, but the statistics have been released by the United Nations, and the UK is the second biggest arms dealer in the world. So we were just discussing like all that money that the UK's reaped from weapons is just going to be used to make more weapons to sell more. And I was like, it's that generation. We've had the conversation before.
Yeah.
That generation of people, and I feel our generation of people, it's a huge difference. In mentality. I don't know if maybe when we get older we'll become more conservative. Maybe that happens.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens, man.
No, but I don't think so. I mean, if you look track on their path on their careers, what they stand for now, it's exactly what they believed in 20 years ago. So
the 70s was like all hippie love, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The 70s, and now
But I mean, I was thinking about this today because there's a guy that I want to bring on the podcast regarding these stories. I really strongly think, especially in Africa, the previous generations fucked us, and they're still fucking us like badly. You know? Especially here, bro. It's like they don't give a shit about the new. They're not helping out. You know, I think they look at the world, they think it's gonna be the same as it was during their time or as it is now. So all they do, I think, from my point of view, is complain about, there's social media now and there's this now, blah blah blah. But like, what are you doing to help that? You know. Anyway, so how did you move from Japan? After Japan, what happened to your story?
Yeah, well, that was a crazy summer because I went to Japan because one of my best friends had a conference there, so he invited me there. And after that, I went for the first time to Equatorial Guinea, to my mom's country. Yeah, so it was a huge contrast, you know, Japan and then Equatorial Guinea, like in less than a month. Yeah.
But how did your mom ended up in Spain then?
Well, my mom left Africa when she was very young, let's say 10 years old, and they immigrated to Gabon.
Another African country, French.
Yeah. And from there, they moved to Spain, because of political problems in Equatorial Guinea.
How is Equatorial Guinea like at the moment?
very small. Oil's there. What happened in Equatorial Guinea is Margaret Thatcher's son tried to lead a political coup, and it fucked up. Before the oil was where it was.
So it's basically a fucked up country, right?
Oh no, that was a long time ago.
No, it's not. I mean, when you go there, you cannot even sense that it's a dictatorial country, you know. But yeah, you cannot take pictures, and as long as you
take pictures.
Yeah, as long as you don't take openly pictures to the main buildings, to the main places, or to the people, you're fine. as long as you don't talk about politics, you are like completely free, and you know.
Man, you need to Google it. It is beautiful.
But why didn't you? Why aren't you allowed?
Beautiful.
Why aren't you allowed to take photos?
Well, because it's I mean, it's
Same as North Korea.
yeah. Well,
The dictatorship. Not so much. There's not so much censorship. But it's,
yeah,
Ah.
not that. You know, not that hard, but I mean, people they can go outside of the country if they want to. You know, it's not like North Korea,
Yeah.
and you know, of course, I mean, there's poverty, but no one is starving there. You know,
Yeah.
like it's
Oh,
a rich
okay.
country, so
Oh, okay. Oh, is it?
yeah, we've got like a lot of
a lot of
oil.
natural resources
Yeah.
and stuff.
Dope.
Yeah.
So then after that you went to Equatorial Guinea, and then from there you moved to South Africa now for the trip.
No. After that, I went back to Spain. I worked there. Then I moved to the States for an internship.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, after that I moved to Kenya, and yeah.
How do you find Kenya?
Well, Nairobi is quite a dangerous city,
How is
but
it?
you know, for me the concept of, you know, for me like nothing is dangerous.
Yeah, you're raw, you know.
It's like yeah, for an average person, Nairobi would be like very, very dangerous, but for me it was, I mean, because I consider myself a part of Africa as well, so I'm African, I don't have any reason to be scared about my people, you know. Yeah, of course you have to be careful. I mean, I didn't walk during the nights there, also because I was living in a place outskirts of the city, you know.
What were you doing there?
Yeah, well, the story starts in the US. I applied for an internship at the New York State Division of Human Rights, and they hired me. It was an unpaid internship, by the way. So yeah, that sucks because, you know, New York, it's fucking expensive. Yeah, so I really, really loved my job there. I was like, oh, I think I want to do this. You know, I like that field, like the human rights and social care. And so yeah, one person from there said, look, if you like this, maybe you can start from Africa. You can go to Nairobi. Nairobi is like the New York of Africa, which is not true. I think Cape Town is like the New York of
Have you been to
Africa.
Johannesburg?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, at
Yeah.
the same time, I mean, South Africa sometimes is more like Europe. That's why people say that Nairobi. But you know, Nairobi is booming, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of tech going on there. As we're talking, I think Mark Zuckerberg is there launching a few joints. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I think
Kenya is like
correct me if
the.
I'm wrong, but I think Kenya was the first country to implement transactions via text between people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
true.
big. M-Pesa is also
M-Pesa,
used
yeah.
in America in some parts.
Yeah, M-Pesa.
It's like the Silicon Valley of Africa. I mean, if I had to leave South Africa right now, the only country that I would move to in Africa is Kenya, Nairobi.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would do.
So, so I moved there because my plan was to find an NGO and maybe perhaps collaborate with them. But, you know, my budget was really, really low. And, so I was having those unemployment benefits from my country. So I was like, okay, I have this money until this month, so I have to make it in like, let's say 3 months. But that's such a really short period of time if you want to, you know, succeed or find a job. Maybe you're lucky and you know, like someone likes you and someone hires you. But since I did not have like big contacts, you know, so I couldn't make it. But I didn't fail because I started collaborating with Gingimbali, which is a paper, an online paper.
An online paper, I mean, a newspaper.
It's
publication?
a newspaper. Yeah, it's like like the New York Times online, something
Correct.
like that. So it's based in the Canary Islands, which is geographically Africa, but it's Spain. You know, the Canary Islands. So yeah, I was writing news from Kenya to that paper.
Ora.
Yeah, and also, like I went to events, I covered events, I went to the UN in Nairobi so I could, meet people from there and, write nice stories about, I could interview one very famous singer. I don't know if you know Naomi Washida.
No.
Well, now she's based in Seattle and she's a singer there. She's developing her career there, but she's from Nigeria. So she was around when I was there, so I could interview her. It was nice.
Oh la la. So you are enjoying just being a nomad, changing jobs up and down, than being a lawyer in court all day or doing something like that, right?
Yeah, that's a very intelligent question from you.
Thank you. Intelligent people called my question intelligent.
No, yeah. Well, when people see my CV, it's like, oh wow, you've been changing jobs and places and countries. And, it's just how life came to me. I mean, I think that life flows. And since I don't have a family, like my own family, and I didn't have a boyfriend that time. I have it now.
Do you have a boyfriend now?
Yeah, well, the problem is that, I just, I'm a person that just takes everything that comes to me. I don't say no to any good opportunity that comes. So, and that's a big problem because,
Is it a problem?
Well, I think it's a good thing. It's the way I am. But sometimes could be a problem because you are not like the rest of the world. So people look at you like, oh, you're kind of weird because you're just moving around.
I know.
Yeah.
It's probably because of your horoscope. What do you think?
No, that's not true.
Tell me about Sagittariuses.
Oof, I don't know anything about Sagittarius. I'm sorry. Not really.
That's depressing. Happy birthday, bro.
24th of July. You remember I was on the trip on my birthday? I actually came back on my birthday that night.
Just give me a second, I'm going to find your horoscope.
No, I don't like horoscopes.
No, if you want me to make you like a briefing about Capricorns, we are an earth sign. You say sign?
I'm a fire sign.
Okay, fire. I'm an earth one. So that means that we are very, attached to the earth, and we are not fantasy. We don't fantasize with things, So I would say that Capricorns, they are not really adventurers.
Okay.
So that's.
I was born in '94.
You're a Leo, bro.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I will tell you what, Kannan. I was born in '94. The same year.
1994.
The same year.
Shit, you're a baby.
The same year, Kannan, that Illmatic came out. So my horoscope is probably Illmatic, which is the best rap album in history, more likely, if you ask anyone.
I'm going to say the Black Album, but
Oh, is it? Oh yeah, that's a long conversation. Okay, so doing all these jobs, then what's next? Where do you see yourself next afterwards? Or do you want to continue living like that, or
no?
Because I think it's more fun, than just jointing.
But as I said, I mean, I just did that because I felt inside that I had to do it, and because I didn't have like any other better option. I mean, if I would have like a rich banker dad and I could, like maybe work in somewhere. I mean, my personality is not like staying in a place stuck, but also I can say that if I would have the opportunity to just have money and stay in one place, I would do that. It's more like the life force you to do different things, So now I know that actually I'm going back to Barcelona tomorrow, by the way.
Oh la la. Barcelona.
So I'm gonna start working for a EU agency in Barcelona. At the legal department. That's going to be for 8 months. And after that, hopefully I can join Kananga again. So I can start the tour leader.
But how was the experience on the tour guide
What's that
job?
company called?
Kananga.
We'll put it in the description.
Kananga?
Yeah. No. Kannan is thinking about him and his surname like Kannan Kannan Gaind.
Maybe I need to fucking ask for some royalties.
Kannan, you need 10% of
Kananga,
piper.
it's a city in Congo. It's the name of a city of Congo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, well, my experience was great. Actually, I was hungry for that job. I mean, I loved it. And yeah, the experience of coming here, you know, with everything paid. Yeah, it was great. But also, you know, dealing with people, with, you know, 19 people, it's not easy, you know. You have to, yeah, I mean, when I'm with my people, like let's say with friends, with you guys, or with my family, I think I have those interpersonal skills, like, yeah. But when I'm with people that I don't know...
Yeah. Or sometimes you don't like, you're just there because you have to work.
No, but it's not because I don't like them. I mean, I'm the type of person that if I don't have sympathy to you, I'm not gonna change. It's like, okay, I don't have that connection with you. Maybe I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna, you know, go out with you or something, but I'm gonna be like professional because it's my job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, but yeah, the problem is, yeah, for some reason, you know, hate is gonna hate, you know.
Yeah.
So
Hate is gonna hate.
hate is gonna hate.
That's not very Spanish, but okay.
And in
Can you tell me what that is in Spanish, please? What's haters gonna hate?
In Spanish.
In Spanish.
We don't have a specific sentence for that.
Do you have haters in Spanish? Spanish
No.
don't hate. They cannot have that word. They don't hate. They don't hate.
Yeah, we would use slang for that. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Bad words. Yeah. So in my last previous experience working, I've always had those, you know, like women, you know, like not really liking me, or and ending up like really jealous about I don't know why, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it's difficult for me. That, I mean, I think other cultures, like for example the Jewish, they were trained to know how to interact in that professional or that job atmosphere. But us Europeans, or let's say Spanish, for example, or me, I'm talking for myself.
Your experience, yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, it's a completely different world, the job place, and for me, it's really difficult to navigate there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it.
But
really
who could not like Sheila? I don't understand. Like, she's the coolest Spanish.
Bitches ain't shit.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not perfect. I have a lot of mistakes. You know, I do mistakes as everyone else. But yeah, there's people that they really want to push me down. But it's fine. I mean, I assume that. But yeah. I would like to know how to, you know, deal with that better.
What are you very good
Any
at,
advice?
Sheila?
Huh?
Oh, one advice? Be an asshole.
Yeah. Okay.
It's easy.
Be an asshole to them.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, because
Constantly zero fuck.
I know that
Don't give it. You know, don't give it.
I know that
too much. I'm just joking.
the more kind or friendly I am, the worst I receive back. It's like it's like a wall, you know. There. Yeah.
So, what are you good at besides being smart and being a lawyer and traveling all the time?
I think I'm good in loving people. I mean, in loving the ones I care of. Yeah, basically that, I think.
What do you say, Kannan?
No comment.
No comment on that.
No comment on that at all.
And your couchsurfing experience while traveling, how has it been?
Who are your favourite hosts been?
That's a very biased question. Don't answer
Yeah. Well, I have a very, very good host in New York. I ended up doing couchsurfing in New York because I couldn't pay the rent, and it was 3 months of couchsurfing. Yeah, we ended up being like super friends. And yeah, of course I paid, but I paid like almost nothing. Yeah, and yeah, I feel like very grateful. I've got wonderful couchsurfing experiences. So somehow I think that I have to give that back. Yeah, one day.
Have you hosted?
We're going to Barcelona.
We're going to
I
Barcelona.
haven't hosted anyone. No.
Terrible. Are you gonna host people when you go back to Bar?
Well, the problem is I don't have my own apartment right now, so I'm still. I mean, once when I finished my Kenya experience, I had no money. I left the last apartment, so I had to go back to mom's place. So yeah, I'm still there. So.
Oh, okay. But what has been the most outstanding? Have you had any worse experience?
No. Not really.
Not really.
Well, I can tell you that when I first arrived to New York, I lived like 2 days in Brooklyn at a doctor's house. And we ended up having something together. Like, yeah.
Ooh la la.
And I
2
was
days?
like, yeah, 2 days. And then he was from where? I think he was a doctor from Harvard, a very clever one, from Lebanon or, yeah. He was Arab, an Arabic guy. And I said, well, maybe would you mind having me like more time, because I'm struggling to find an apartment. Actually, I went to the US and I didn't know where to stay. I mean, I booked a ticket and I was like, yeah, let's go to the States. Of course, I had money with me, but not like a lot of money to spend.
Especially it's expensive there.
Yeah. So, yeah, and he said, oh no, I want to live alone, blah, blah, blah. But that was not a bad experience, but it was just
awkward.
A disagreement,
But then when you say you had a thing, what do you mean? Sorry, I'm a nerd. I understand transparency.
We ended up together for one night and that's it. Is that clear enough?
No.
Did you cuddle? Is that what you meant? You had a cuddle?
Yeah.
Did you have a white night stand with the doctor? Okay, now that's understood. Like a Lebanon doctor.
We all love couchsurfing.
Kannan loves couchsurfing. All right. So, being in Africa, you're a black woman with big hair. I'm a hair freak when it comes to.
Really?
When it comes to women, you know that. What do you think about the hairstyles here in Africa generally? About how the women, how they perceive themselves, or how they carry themselves?
A huge movement. It's called natural hair movement. It started in Harlem, New York City, and I'm very lucky because when that movement started, I was there. Actually, it was a lot of things going on when I was there. Also, the murders of black people, so I could go to protests, and yeah, that was pretty cool. So I think we black women, we have to be proud of ourselves, of our color, our skin color, and of course of our hair. I mean, since the 19th century or way before, we've been told that we're ugly, that we have like wool hair, like not nice hair, and that's just white bullshit. I mean, it's not true at all. I mean, we are beautiful the way we are.
Especially natural hair.
Especially
We love
natural.
ourselves as strong black
Oh
women.
man,
Yeah.
everybody loves themselves,
Of
and
course.
ebony with natural hair.
I mean,
Ebony,
but the problem is that, for example, for me, my mom, when I was a kid, she didn't know how to do my hair, probably because my grandmother didn't know. It's
it goes all the way back.
So she straightened my hair when I was maybe 8 years old, something like that. So yeah, that's a problem because then most of the hairstyles are being forgotten. You don't really know what to do with your hair because
everybody feel like their hair has to be straight for some reason.
exactly. And I had my hair straightened before. And yeah, it looked nice. It looked pretty European, and it looked nice on me. But I think I prefer my natural hair. It's less expensive because, of course, I had to go to the hairdresser every week if I wanted to, the perfect look. Yeah. And also I'm very happy because now I'm learning a lot on these YouTube channels. So yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
When I speak everybody knows everybody who is very close to me knows that I'm a hair freak. I don't go out with girls with weaves or straightening.
Really?
No.
Not at all?
No, not at all. You will never see
Really?
me. Never.
Oh.
So when I speak to black girls, for example, about their hair. They say no, we put weaves because our hair is hard to take care of. It's expensive, but obviously putting the weaves and stuff is more expensive than just keeping your real hair. They say no, it's very tough to to take care of. I don't know if that's true, but
Well, it's not tough to take care. It's just no one taught us how to take care about our hairs. So once but the thing is, this thing is growing a lot. In France, I know that there's an event. It's called natural hair, whatever. And most of the bloggers, they go there, and they share new products and new hairstyles. And it's a big thing. I think I must go this year, because then that there's like more people like you with your same type of hair.
I do believe what you said in terms of your parents have a big say, and we discussed this as fellow mixed race people,
as mulattoes.
As mulattoes.
It's a strange thing to say, but mixed race children that have a black mum will have a very different relationship with black culture than mixed race people that have a black dad. Like, for example, on Sunday nights, one of my earliest memories as a kid, so every Sunday night, I would sit there. There were 3 sisters. I would sit there.
Get close to the mic a little bit.
But she'd have my 3 sisters on the floor in front of her, sitting with their legs crossed in front of her, and she'd be doing their hair on Sunday night for school the next week. So I think it's very important, like you said, about the role your parents play as a black woman or a black man or a person of colour, full stop.
Just to be clear here for the people listening, Kanan's dad is white, British, right? His mom is obviously black. She's from Jamaica,
Caribbean.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting to know that it's possible. I mean, there are people that are, even my sisters, my own sisters, sometimes, I mean, not now, but before, back in the day, they couldn't even think of having their natural hair as a choice. They just felt like they always have to put chemicals and straighten it.
Yeah, but that happened to me. I mean, I wasn't born with that mentality. That happened to me before. I mean, by the time I was in uni, I was always like wearing braids because the braids was like the most, easy to go, But then I wouldn't. I mean, this is like kind of new, for me as well. Yeah.
But it's cool,
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody knows it's cool. It's your magnet now, your guy magnet.
We like your hair.
Yeah. So mulatto. What would you say to the world? Lastly.
Well,
mulatto is shock falling asleep.
No. Well, I don't know. Thank you for interviewing me. I mean, when I first arrived here, you were, also interviewing another, I guess, the Chinese. No, she was from where?
She's from
Korea.
She's Hong Kongese.
Hong Kong, yeah. So, thank you so much. I don't know if you got everything. I mean, if you wanted to ask me, like, any personal questions? Or
do you have a boyfriend?
Do you have a... Yeah.
Yes, great!
I'm not gonna answer that.
Okay, look, you can also ask a question to everyone.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
will.
kick it.
Yeah, now it's my
you take one.
turn.
Go for it.
Okay.
Did he ask you a question?
No, I'm gonna ask a question.
Ask away.
No, you. No, you.
Can I please?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you, have you ever had an homosexual relationship?
No.
Have you ever had...
Drop a bomb like that?
Have you ever had sex with another man?
No,
Never ever.
Why do you ask Gray that question?
Good question.
No, it's not for... It's just,
She's trying to make me uncomfortable.
You're freaky.
Yeah. What about you?
No. I think one of my best friends back home is gay.
So
My sister's a lesbian.
Oh, really?
I've literally I just like boobs.
Yeah, I just like all kinds of women, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know that.
You know that.
I see.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
No more questions. That's the
No more
only
questions.
question.
You wanted us.
I'm going to bed.
Question you had for us on
Yeah.
our last night in South Africa is whether we've had homosexual relationship. I'm so disappointed.
I'm sorry.
So disappointed.
Okay, how are you looking forward to your flight tomorrow? You're leaving tomorrow? And how has been the stay with us? What do you think? What are you going to say about it?
Well, it's been amazing. I mean, I'm having an interview, you know.
Oh, la, la.
Right now. I never had an interview before. No one interviewed
Talk
me.
about how nice hosts we are.
Yeah, tell the people
Tell the people how nice we are as hosts. While I put the gun to your head, so you have to say it.
No, of course, you've been... I mean, I felt like being home.
Oh.
Yeah, being
that's
home.
That's the nicest thing anyone said.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't even worried about, should I put this thing here? Look, all my things are around.
All over the place.
Yeah, all over the place.
Your
so,
last boyfriend,
yeah,
your current boyfriend was 50.
No.
Sorry, I was...
Okay,
I was
quit this
messaging
interview
someone.
because this...
I was messaging someone, I completely... Start again.
Look, I'm gonna start again. When I first arrived to the US, I stayed 2 days with one doctor, and he was 30 years old. He was young. But then from there, I moved to another place. That guy was 50, and I stayed there 3 months, living there.
How did you pay him?
With money.
Did you cook or anything like?
No.
No?
Just a little bit of money.
What a nice dude. Did you
Yeah.
still talk to him?
Yeah, we are like best friends. I mean, yeah. But what I was trying to say is when I first arrived there, I mean, there were like certain rules. I didn't even have a key. I had to wait for him. Yeah, that was pretty rude. When I finished work, I had to wait for him, and he was always home because he worked from home. He was a writer and a musician, a bohemian guy. Yeah, so... But yeah, I had certain rules that I had to follow. So
the question that you asked me first when you got into this house, which I was highly offended, was to ask me if I was a psychopath. The very first thing she said.
What's the first words you said, Sheila?
How?
The first time I met Sheila was she was sitting cross-legged on our kitchen counter eating pizza. And I was like, this girl's gonna be done.
really,
Don't be chill.
She came here with drama outside of on the taxi cab, fighting with the taxi guy.
What did you think that I was that I was supposed to be a problem for you?
No.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get it. What?
You were fighting with the taxi driver.
No, but what you said something that when you.
I'm going back to the taxi driver. You fought the taxi driver.
No, it's because I always fight with the taxi drivers. Actually, I've got a fight that I didn't tell you.
And also on the day of arrival, she was like, I'm gonna come at 12, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drive home quickly. Then I'll meet you there and I'll give you the keys, blah blah blah. And then later she said, no, I think I'm just gonna come at night.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry
like,
about that.
Okay.
You know.
And also now when she then I gave her the address in the afternoon, and in the evening she asked me the address again. I sent the address as text, also as shared location on WhatsApp. And then in the evening she asked, what's the address again? So I was like, is this woman really normal, or what should I just say?
Normal.
Yeah.
And the first thing she asked you is if you were psycho.
And also then she got here, she said she didn't want to come out of the car. She said I should go down and meet her there.
Yeah, because I was scared.
What were you scared of?
So I was like, oh my gosh.
You never know. And also my father said, so you sure you're going to do couchsurfing again? What if he's a psychopath? So that's why I asked you that.
So you just decided to ask just like that, like a psychopath. So if I was, then what would I say? I'll probably say no anyway.
Yeah, or maybe yes, who knows?
And what did you do? Say goodbye?
Play it cool, I guess.
And we had pizza that night, which is cool.
Yeah.
From Diva.
Yeah.
All right, people, we have had 2 mulattoes, one from Spain and one from England.
Mulatto friend.
Which is a cool episode, and I'm the only 100% black guy here. Cool, people. See you next time.
Bye.